this, we move on to our last and final session today, which is the session partner for this final concluding session is Naheed.pk. May I please request the session chairs and the speakers to come on stage. First of all, Saad Kaliya, who's a partner at partner of Technology Consulting and Risk Assurance at AF Ferguson & Co. This is a member of the PwC network. Welcome, Saad. May I request Wille Eerola, who's the Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland and CEO of Marketing Man. Welcome, Wille. And as both these gentlemen take their places on stage, I do want to remind you that we will be closing up this day, ending the day with a video message from Steve Dennis, who's a Forbes senior contributor and author of Amazon's bestseller, Remarkable Retail. I do have to tell you that this particular video of Steve will not be available for broadcast and it will not be available online. So आपने देखना है तो आपको इस कमरे में ही दिखेगा, नजर आएगी ये video. So Saad, I turn the session over to you.
Thank you, Rabia. It has been a great and a very long day. मेरा ख्याल है एक शाम की चाय या शायद इफ्तारी भी हमजा की अगर रोज़ा होता तो ज़रूर होती. So without wasting further time, I'll request Wille to present his thoughts. Wille is basically Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland and CEO of Marketing Man. Probably he knows retail more than myself and he's a marketing guy. Wille, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Yes, thank you. Yes, so I said I have a lot of hats. One of the obviously the biggest and most beautiful hats I have is the fact that I am the Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland, and actually it was yesterday that I had a 6th anniversary officially. So I just came to celebrate that with you. I have been working with marketing for the last 30 years, so around the world, and I have also had a wonderful opportunity to do things related to Pakistan as well. Retail of the future of retail, I know that you have been talking and hearing a lot about technology and fintechs and supply channels and all that kind of stuff, but I actually want to take you back a little bit with the basics. Does it work? Yeah. So I will take a very Scandinavian look on Pakistan. I'm going to be super practical. I'm not going to talk about anything about technology. I'm not going to talk anything about anything else that what I think that we should do to actually boost Pakistan in the world. And this is some of you have been hearing my messages before. I think that we need to do some fundamental changes with the fact that what we are actually selling from this country. I'm not talking about domestic trade. I'm talking about what we should sell out from Pakistan to other countries in the world. So I'm taking the Finland-Pakistan angle very quickly on 5 things. Product-wise, I'm using one of my favorite examples in a few minutes. Retail distribution-wise, I'm not talking about e-commerce today because I think that you have heard everything on that subject already, and a little bit marketing and technology-wise, and then also research, retail concept-wise, just one question in the end. So, product-wise, unfortunately, we are letting too many products out from Pakistan with no added value. We are not doing the products up to the certain level. We are letting other companies and other countries to take the added value that would belong to us. I'll show you one example in a second. Another thing is that you want to compete in the international market. I'm highlighting now, talking about with the Scandinavian view, which is probably one of the most complicated in the world in this respect. Because in Scandinavia countries, we're talking Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, basically, you have to understand the certain requirements. Otherwise, nobody's buying anything from you. I can tell you an example, because I have tried this 3 times, probably I won't try it 4 times. When you are exporting mangoes from Pakistan to Scandinavia, they have to be flawless. They can't be not a one spot. They have to look like a plastic. If there's a one spot, we're not buying it. So okay, we all know that controlling a mango is a little bit tricky, but so there will be a one spot. But just a good example what are the market requirements? The quality, quality and detail is something that the people have been asking me to come into Pakistan for years to run a tour to tell that what is detailed, because Scandinavian market especially, the companies and consumers are looking for the details. We have to understand that product has to be high quality, product can't have any failures. Otherwise, it's not the product that the Scandinavian market is buying. And then, like a question, I would like this task for you. It would be time to develop something from Pakistan which would be the most wanted product in the world. I'm not giving you free advice now, but just saying that you have to start thinking to do something from here which will actually be the most wanted by whatever place in the world. Okay, now my favorite example, Himalaya salt. I show you a added value. So the black package, that's a private label company in Finland owned by one of the biggest. There's only 2 big market is split by 2 big companies. This is a company of 11 billion euro turnover. So this is their own package. What the Pakistani salt is €4.58 per kg. This other one is the next on top added value, that's 41.67 euros per kg. You all know the product itself is basically free from Pakistan. Okay, be ready, it's getting better. This is my favorite one. This is a Swedish company. So just put the rocks on a nice package, and it's 58.53 euros per kg. Then you do even more smart move. You buy, probably from China, small steel crate that you can, put the salt on your food. 423 euros 75 cents per kg. Come on. Obviously, there's a margin, but in this business, the margin is like 30-40%. Why we are giving these companies the added value? Because if you would be selling, whether it's an e-commerce, whether it's a physical, I don't really mind what the channel is, but if we do this work here, the money comes here. Now just give it to someone else. And this is the mindset change we need to see. Okay, marketing-wise, this is kind of my world. So I'm saying, message. What are you guys talking about? It doesn't matter whether it's e-commerce or something like that. We have to know what we are talking and to whom. This is where we want to take Pakistani products into international retail. There has to be a change. We have to play the rules in the same way that others are. We can't play the rules in Scandinavia, the Pakistani rules. It's going to be a disaster. So anyway, so that's one. Whether it's analog, whether it's digital, whatever channels you're using, this is one of the biggest problems that I personally feel. I have been involved with the digital world from the very beginning, so mid-1990s. The biggest mistake we can do, And I can feel it in the air again, that we keep talking about too much about e-commerce and digital and blah, 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 and we forget the message. Old-fashioned art of storytelling for your products, it's needed. I tell you, I've been supporting one tea company, tea brand from Sri Lanka. They have the first negative, emission negative tea brand in the world. Whatever is sustainable, whatever is green, beautiful, it sells in Scandinavia. Obviously, and laws. Sometimes we forget that in every country, even that we were talking about the European Union, we still have a lot of things that we have to remember. Again, whether you're talking about e-commerce or whether you're talking about physical things. Retail distribution, I know it's so easy to say that, okay, we can sell everything because of e-commerce. Come on. You want to get into these Scandinavian markets, e-commerce is like, in Finland, e-commerce is like 24-25 billion euros. Okay, we only have 5.5 million people. But when you go, you take the consumer part of that, so consumer business is like 30%, B2B is like a 70%. And then you think how you can get the clients. If you, now as an example of salt, eventually you are talking about product that goes, which is in the food section. In Finland, there's 2 big players. In Sweden, there's 2 big players. You can't get into the market if you don't talk with them. And this is another mistake that very often, many Pakistani companies, they come to Scandinavia, then they call me that, who can I call? You can't call anyone. You need to get into that system first, and then you can talk with them. Technology-wise, I said I'm not going to talk about technology, but when we're talking about future of retail, it's all about the systems that you will need. But at the same time, there's a lot of systems that you would not need. I love the wonderful sales guys of different kinds of technologies because they are very good to sell. But by the end of the day, we're talking about going from Pakistan abroad, selling some products that are actually leaving added value in this country. You don't need all the technology. You need the right technology. And that's, I know that some of you now hate me that because we are trying to sell a lot of technology, but just from the retail point of view, international marketing point of view, you do not need everything. So I know that there's a hype. I have seen these hypes over the last 30 years, but still, whoever is selling something, concentrate what you need. This is one of my favorite examples. That's where there's a question mark, because again, I'm not giving you a free tip, but you should be doing more. You still, I'm having the same message for decades. Pakistan is still not brave enough. You have to believe on you. We have a wonderful story to be told from Pakistan, wonderful products, and what I really would like to see that some of you will create a retail concept-wise, whether it's a cafeteria, or whether it's a shop, or whether it's any of the wonderful brands that we have here, that taking that retail concept to Europe and further to Scandinavian markets, because you would have a chance to do it. It's only that you have to start thinking to be brave enough. And now everybody's thinking that, okay, Wille just mentioned 5.5 million people in Finland. Yes, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, it's only 26 million people together. That's your Karachi. But please remember, the GDP per head in Scandinavia is $45,000 US. So you can do the counting. Norway is a little bit 60, but they have their oil and gas, but that's another story. Anyway, so there's a huge potential in the market. And I'm more than happy to help any of you, even that if you want to sell technology, I can still help you, but I'm more than happy to help and brainstorm with you what kind of products you might take to Scandinavian market. And I will also tell you honestly that what you have to change in those products. because you have to be also ready to learn and make whatever is needed. This is my message. Thanks a lot. Please feel free to send me email whenever you need. The other email you need if you want to LinkedIn, contact me on LinkedIn, because I had to change the settings. I got like 300 requests per day. But anyway, thank you, and be brave, concentrate, and I would be so happy to see that we would see Pakistani products flowing into the Scandinavian market with the added value that you are going to leave here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Wille. I think that's a great message for us to be brave and take our products to next level, our retail brands to international market. Before we play the last session or the last, I think it's important. I mean, we've been hearing certain things throughout the day. I think one or two key takeaways which I gathered from this is that we as retailers need to define what is the right medium. I mean, brick and mortar is here to stay. So, I mean, there was a mention about Cardi's concept store. I mean, I have teenage kids and they love those stores. They have an immersive experience. And as I'm speaking, my credit card is still clicking. So as Mr. Irfan Saab said, that the women in our house are spending money. So again, being an International Women's Day, let's commit to stopping the bias against the women. Let's break that bias. I think that's important. But coming back to the medium, I think it's important that in addition to brick and mortar, we need to build upon the right e-commerce platform. But once we do that, once we start collecting the data, I think it's important that we give the customers a trust that their data would be safe, because in a lot of stores, when we're collecting personalized data in order to make recommendations, and if those data gets into the wrong hand, I think the brand will get a very bad image. I mean, recently you must have seen a number of cyber attacks on a number of banks. I can name those banks, but I mean, you've already heard about them. So it creates a bad reputation. So I think it's important that whatever e-commerce platform or whatever media, somebody talked about metaverse, we need to make sure that the data is secure and private. Obviously, the need is to invest in the digital supply chain, and for that, the data analytics and AI is very important. I was not able to hear one thing, but I think it's important that we spend on ESG because, as Wille can perhaps add, I mean, a lot of emphasis is being put on ESG. And it's important that not just the net zero, but the environment and socially responsibly, we need to make sure that we do invest. But at the end of the day, the customer mainly thinks about price and convenience, so we need to focus on that. I recently started the book which Steve Dennis wrote. The first sentence was quite it struck me quite a lot. I mean, the sentence is that, it really reflects the pandemic which has hit us. Everyone has a plan until you get hit on the mouth. That's a statement from Mike Tyson, and that's the sentence which Steve Dennis has written in his book, which is Amazon's bestseller. So without further ado, let's hear from Steve Dennis. Sure.
Just a slight change of plan. We're trying to be as agile as possible. Your build up to Steve Dennis's video was so perfect, and I'm going to ask you to do that again. But just before Steve Dennis's video, we've got a special message from Razak Dawood Saab. But before I play that, also I'd like to thank Wille Eerola and Saad Kaliya for this session and for bringing the entire context of today into perspective. So can we give them a big round of applause and then we play the video? Super.
Future of Retail Summit 2022 is a major event, and I congratulate the organizers. Domestic commerce is vital to our economy and plays a vital role in our economy. Retailers and wholesalers now contribute 18% of the GDP and employ 16% of the workforce, which is a phenomenal size, and it is growing rapidly. So it will, in the years to come, be an even bigger force. Also, this sector interlinks with many others, be it construction, transportation, interlinks with many others. Construction, real estate, transportation is just to mention a few. So it shows that it is an important link in our economy. I'm happy to see that the retail sector has come a long way in the past decade. Brick and mortar retailers are getting better organized, providing better services, and the online retailing is certainly growing very fast. Nice to see Pakistani brands coming into the retail sector. We've heard of product brand, but retailer brand for shopping malls, chain stores, departmental stores are coming and becoming a force in themselves is a good development. There is a concept in marketing called the wheel of retailing, and this is just what we are seeing happening in Pakistan. We're now moving along that chain, and it is certainly a very interesting development. Just like with every other sector, retailers, wholesalers have their own challenges. And the government is willing to work with you to be able to slowly get those challenges out of the way, and so that you can flourish even more. I wish this future of retailing summit every success, and I hope that through this the sector will grow even more. Thank you very much.
I'd like to invite Rana Tariq Saab onto the stage. Rana Saab, Tariq Saab, if you could kindly join me on stage. Thank you again to our live speakers here. May I request Wille Eerola, who's the Honorary Consul General of Pakistan in Finland and CEO of Marketing Man, to accept a small token of our gratitude. And may I request Saad Kaliya, who's a partner at a partner of technology consulting and risk assurance at AF Ferguson & Co., a member of the PwC network. And last but not least, may I please request Syed Abdul Qadir from PwC also. Thank you for all your assistance in researching and putting the content together for the program. So just a token of our gratitude. And finally, it takes a lot of endurance and patience to be able to sustain the entire course of the day, not just here, but also online.